Hello everyone, welcome back to Trauma's Base Academy. Let's dive into today's lesson and make some base magic happen. So on today's episode, we'll be talking about groove, timing, musicality, and foundational baseline development. So if this is your first time joining me, you're welcome. And if you've been following consistently from episode 1 up to episode 3, I'm really glad that you're here because that means you are committed to growing. And that is exactly what this academy is about: growth, consistency, and understanding. Now, in episode 3, we worked on rhythm and timing. And in that lesson, we focused a lot on control, we focused a lot on finger exercises, clarity, and making sure that every note we play is intentional. That was not just a random lesson, it was a preparation. Because what we are doing today in episode 4 builds directly on that foundation. So if you skipped episode 3, I would honestly advise that after this video, go back and practice it properly. Because today we are stepping into something deeper. Today we are no longer just playing notes. We are actually learning how to make those notes feel like music. Now, I want to explain this clearly so you understand the importance of today's lesson. A lot of beginners think bass playing is just about knowing where the notes are, playing the right notes, and moving your fingers fast. See, that is not what makes a bassist a good bass player. A good bassist understands timing, groove, feel, and space. So today we're going to break things down step by step, no rushing, and we're not skipping anything. So by the end of this lesson, you should begin to notice that your playing is starting to sound more musical, more controlled, and more intentional. Before we even touch the lesson, let me address something very important because I always want every of my students to feel included. I'll be playing a 5-string bass for this lesson. And if you're playing a 4-string bass or a 6-string bass, I want you to understand this clearly. You're not left out. Everything I'm teaching today is not dependent on the number of strings. It is dependent on your understanding. So if you're on a 4-string bass, you will simply stay within your available range. And if you're on a 6-string bass, you ignore the extra strings for now and focus on the core exercise. So don't ever feel like, oh, I can't do this because my bass is different. No, music does not work like that. Understanding comes first. Instrument variation comes second. So it doesn't matter if you have a 4-string, a 5-string, or a 6-string. Just stick to the exercise and focus and gain more understanding of whatever we're doing here. Now let's go into the first major part of this lesson: groove. I want you to pay attention here because this is where many people struggle without even realizing it. Now, groove is not something you see. Groove is something you feel. But even though it's a feeling, it can be trained. Now, what is groove really? Groove is the consistency of your timing combined with the placement of your notes. So it is what makes your music feel steady. It makes people nod their head and like, ah, that is music. It's what makes a simple bass line sound powerful. Now, here is something very important. Two people can play the same notes, but one will sound musical and the other will sound mechanical. The difference is groove. Groove, 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 groove. Now let's go into counting because groove starts from understanding timing. Go grab your bass, let's dive into it. I'm playing a 5-string bass and I'll be playing on the key of C. So if you're playing a 4-string bass, not to worry. Ignore the B string and focus on the rest of the 4 strings. And if you're playing a 6-string bass guitar, ignore this string and this string, then focus on the 4 strings in the middle. I'll be playing on the key of C, which is on the 3rd fret of my 3rd string. 1, 2, 3. This is a funk beat on 80 beats per minute, 80 BPM. And we're going to count like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let me slow that down a bit. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now listen carefully. The numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4 are your main beats, but the end in between the 1 and the 2 and the 3, the A and the end, is what we call the off beats. So when you're playing, you're not just thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. You're also thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in between the numbers. This concept is called subdivision. We've been talking about groove, groove, and groove all along. This is the fun part of it. You're going to be spotting the difference between the first beat I'm going to play and the second beat I'm going to play. You'll tell me which is groovy and which is not groovy. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, two, three, four. One and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and one and two and three and four. How did that sound? I'm sure the first sounded very basic and straight, and the second sounded groovy. That is the beauty of subdivision because that is where groove begins. Now that we understand groove, let's connect it to your fingers because understanding without execution is not helpful. We're using two fingers, the index finger and the middle finger. Now I want you to understand something very important. These two fingers must work like a system, not two separate things. That means if your index finger plays, your middle must follow, and if your middle plays, your index must follow. Let's put that to practice. One and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and one and two and three and four. This matters because if you're using only one finger to play, you'll get tired too quickly and it limits your speed. Imagine walking on one foot. Sounds uncomfortable, yeah? Same applies to your fingers. When you alternate properly, you gain control, you gain endurance, and you gain balance, playing with your index and your middle. It also builds your speed. Now, pick one string. I'll be playing on C. Don't rush this. Play slowly, like this. One and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and one and two and three and four. Now watch your fingers, listen to your sound and make sure that each note is equal. And two and three and four. Your turn. Good job. Three things to avoid when playing is gonna really help your play. One, don't hit the string too hard when playing. Two, don't let one finger sound louder than the other finger. Then three, don't tense your hand. Be relaxed and play softly but firm. Now we move into something very important, building baselines. This part is so fun because everybody waits for this part. How can I build baselines? How can I make this and that? Now listen, this is where everything starts to come together. Your baselines, the life of the music. So we're working with three main notes today, the root, the fifth, and the octave. Now let me explain this properly. The root is your foundation, the fifth gives your baseline movement, and your octave adds fullness and connection. As always, I'll be playing on the key of C. C is my root notes. Now count 5 notes up to get to your G, which is my fifth. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's my fifth. Then my octave is simply the same as my root notes, but a higher pitch. Now we're going to be creating a pattern. C plus G plus C plus G, C plus G plus C plus G. Now we don't just play, we understand it because we're going to be creating movement between stability and motion. C, G, 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 C. Music is not about complexity, it's about clarity and feel. A simple bass line played well is better than a complicated bass line played poorly. Let's go to a very important part of this lesson because this is where many people struggle even without realizing it. There are three types of timing. You can play ahead of the beats, behind the beats, and inside the beats. As a beginner, aim to play inside the beats. That means you're not rushing, you're not dragging, and you're steady. If you cannot stay on beats at a slow tempo, you definitely not stay on beats at a fast tempo. So slow practice is not optional, it is necessary. Let's talk about something that separates beginners from clean players. Muting. When you play bass, strings vibrate, and if you don't control them, you get noise. That noise will make your playing sound messy. We have the right hand muting and the left hand muting. For the right hand muting, your thumb should rest on strings you're not using. This stops unwanted vibration. For the left hand muting, your fingers should lightly touch unused strings, not pressing, just touching. It produces clean sound, clear notes, and professional tone. Before this class ends, I'd like to give you a structured routine and you must follow this consistently. First 5 minutes of your rehearsal, you should start with finger exercises, slow, controlled, and not rushing. Then in the next 5 minutes of your rehearsal, you must practice groove, counting out loud and feeling the timing. Then for the next 10 minutes, try creating bass lines using your roots, your fifth, and your octave. Don't forget the C, G, C, G concept I gave you during the class. Repeat this pattern playing slowly. Then for the final 5 minutes of your rehearsals, play with a beat. Don't forget your metronome is constant. I want you to interact with me. If anything in this lesson is not clear, please go to the comment section, drop your questions, and I will definitely respond to you. And also tell me where you are struggling, what you want me to explain more, and what you enjoyed. This is not just a video, this is a learning process. In the next episode, we will begin to apply these concepts in more musical situations. Until then, keep practicing, keep improving, and I'll see you in the next class. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to like, to share, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also turn on the notification bell to get notified each time I post a lesson. Bye for now.